Welcome. Welcome. We have a little bit of an echo right now. That's okay. It will even out in just a few seconds. Come on into the webinar room. Make yourselves comfortable. We are going to wait just a few minutes so that everyone can join us who is going to be joining us. Wow, that was a big noise. Did anybody hear that? That was wild. I don't know what that was.
Yeah. We have a ghost on the Zoom.
Exactly. And while we are waiting, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. I'm going to pop this up on the screen. I would love to invite everybody that is here today, if you are not already a member of our Thrive with Viome community, to join us in our totally brand new, totally amazing, if I do say so myself, private community platform. Of course, it is called Thrive with Viome. And there you go. It's popped up right there. As soon as you want to close it, there's a little button down underneath it that says close, and you can do that. I am Lisa Shomo. I am head of community and I'm host in the Thrive with Viome. And it's our fantastic new online space where you can jump in with a really outstanding group of people that are just like you, who are looking to move forward on their health journey, and their Viome recommendations are a very integral part of that journey. And this is a space where you can get support from not only our experts like people here, but also the community at large who are working to eat healthier and feel healthier, and we're here to do it together. And so, plus we are starting our next 30-day health challenge next week. May 3rd, it kicks off. So please click on that button, request to join the community. When you get in there, all you have to do is request to join the challenge space, and I can guide you along the way. I'm in there every day. You can DM me if you have any questions, Lisa Shomo. And we're going to put some healthy habits into play so that you can have a healthy and happy summer. So come and join us. Excellent. So let's get this broadcast underway. I would like to do that. We are here today to dig right into our newly updated Viome app. And now hopefully you all have had a moment to update your app on your iOS or Android smartphones. But if you haven't, you're in for a nice surprise. There is so much to go over. A new layout, new features, more information about what we see in your samples when they are analyzed at our lab. And then with that, I'm going to officially introduce our experts here today. First is Helen Volbrot, who is our Chief Product Strategy Officer and Corporate Brand Communications. It's been a while since you've been on a live event with us, Helen. I'm so glad to have you back.
I know. I'm so glad I'm here.
Woo! And next, I have members from our Precision Nutrition Science team, Dr. Grant Antoine, Hillary Kaiser, Janelle Connell. Hello to everyone. How are you this morning?
Hey, Lisa.
Doing good.
Awesome.
Excited.
I am too. And we have a lot to go over. And so I'm just going to dig right in here. And I'm going to let Helen start us out with basically, what was the thought process behind the redesign of our app structure? I would love for you to give us a little thought in that.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, I just want to step back before the team kind of takes you guys through the whole experience and talk about the why and what are some of those, guiding principles that drive everything we do at Viome, especially when it comes to our product. So the first one, I don't know if you've got this slide. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first one obviously is personalization. This is at the core of everything we do. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone right now. One of the main benefits of our technology is that we can really highlight just how personalized a nutrition program should be for someone throughout their life. So one of the main goals of this launch was we wanted to better showcase in the app for our users that unique response that they have to their food and nutrients. People are always asking us, what is the best diet for gut health? What's the best diet for microbiome health? What's the best diet for me right now? And as I age, why is the same diet that I was fine with before now causing the issues? And from all the data we see, we really know that it's not about a diet. It's really about getting food and nutrient specific, which is something, we do. And obviously all these foods and these nutrients that you eat every day, they have real measurable effect on your health. So when Janelle takes you guys through the new nutrition page, you guys will kind of see how we highlight these effects of the food and nutrients in a new way. The second one is proactive. So one of the goals we had for this launch was to really show people that your scores are not just some random isolated numbers that are not connected to anything that you care about. Your scores are deeply connected to things like your goals, right? So why am I not achieving these goals, or why am I not achieving these goals faster? Symptoms, they can help you understand why you're experiencing the symptoms you're experiencing. Why did this just pop up out of nowhere, even though I'm eating the same thing every day? Well, let's look at your scores so they can tell us something. And then one of the new features, Health Connections, is really looking at how are these scores tied to long-term health issues that, you may want to monitor over time. And of course, the scores are what allow us to get food and nutrient specific when we're building that personalized plan for you guys. The third one, actionability. So of course, your recommendations and your formulas are part of this actionability, but we are well aware of that. There are many other tools that you guys have been asking for that you need to help you on this journey. So this is obviously the first launch, a big launch of many that we're going to do this year. So you guys can look forward to things like symptom tracking, meal builder recipes, a lot of AI, a lot of AI incorporated in that. And of course, everything we're learning from you guys, we always use to make our products more personalized, make our products more proactive, because at the end of the day, our goal is just to make healthy eating easier. So with that, I will hand it off to Grant.
Great. I'm over here playing in the chat, so I need to quit.
Calling out my Nashville peeps, if anyone's from Nashville.
No, yeah, great intro. Let's see, where are my controls? So we want to just, again, take another step back and say, hey, why are we all here? Why is Viome a leader in this space? Why are the scores and these recommendations important, right? We've all done it. We've all tried to lose weight. We've all tried to establish some health goals and struggled and often failed. And we know nutrition's key. We know nutrition lies the foundation for our health, but nutrition can be very, very hard, especially in the long term. We want to bring you both the insights and the tools to make it easy, right? So we can maximize the benefit that we get from nutrition. There's this idea that there are universally healthy foods. We don't believe that. We think there's a time and place for each food. And through our technology, we can I guess, support that idea and make it actionable for you. So we, being a leader in metatranscriptomics, right? We've got the largest commercial lab. We've got this licensed technology. No one else is looking at the microbiome in the way that Viome does. Everyone else is measuring DNA. That's limited. It can tell us the who's, the what's, who are the microbes are there and their relative ratios and composition, but you don't really know what they're doing in there. And it's the doing that's important, right? It's that activity. So by using our technology, we can connect the microbiome, the foods, your lifestyle, and really fine tune all of those things to support your health and get you the success that you're looking for. So how are we doing this? We're looking at gene expression, right? So if you looked at my gene, I've had my genome run. I'm sure many of you have too. You can look at all the genes that are in your body, that is your DNA, but that DNA, what do you do with it? It can give us some ideas about risk, yeah, and that can be useful. But outside of that, it's very limited because DNA can't tell you if I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm sick, if I'm well, right? So while it provides the master blueprint for all metabolic possibilities for our bodies, we don't actually know which of those genes are being expressed until we can look at the RNA, right? So RNA is transcribed from the DNA, and that's what Viome's measuring. And it's really that RNA that empowers us to look at the gene expression and connect these things, again, to your biology. And this really puts you in control because now you can see, hey, what are the microbes responding to in my diet? What are my cells, my immune cells, my mitochondria, what are they responding to in my lifestyle? Having that knowledge and that insight then allows us to have molecular targets that we can hit through nutrition, through foods and supplements, to accelerate your success and get you across that finish line so you can go on with life, right? Because we want that health. We want to feel good in our bodies. We want that energy and that good mood, but what is it to do? It's not just to chase the numbers, right? We want to get out there, we want to live, we want to be with friends, family, travel, do all those things that we know we can do on this beautiful planet. So Viome's unique in this ability to provide you with that information. Now, the next step is like, hey, how do we use that? And that's a lot what the app is about, especially this revamp. And how do we connect what Viome, that only Viome can measure, to the actionability and to those conditions and goals, as Helen mentioned, that you're most interested in and familiar with. So just to give a few examples, many of you have probably seen this if you are familiar with the app and with the Viome platform. But just talking a little bit more about how that gene expression can enable personalized nutrition. Here we see an example with high sulfide gas production. So sulfide gas, some of it's good, a lot of it's bad. And in the microbiome, as these microbes are producing and metabolizing sulfur compounds, they can produce too much of this gas, which can be uncomfortable for one, but also lead to downstream pathogenesis with fatty liver disease and gut lining issues. So we want to be paying attention. We want to get this modulated. And it's a lever we can pull on through diet. So broccoli and cruciferous vegetables happen to be particularly high in sulfur compounds. We can pull back on what is generally accepted as a superfood, right? Yeah, broccoli is great, high fiber, lots of nutrients, love it. But for us at this time, if we have this high sulfide gas production, it's not going to be the best option for us necessarily, right? So how can we fine tune the diet, pull some of these foods out, de-emphasize them, right? Emphasize other foods that are going to course correct this activity, so we can get that sulfide gas production under control and move on. We can do this through the foods. We can do this through supplements. You can see here we've got a probiotic that comes in and can help adjust that microbiome activity to, again, decrease that gas production. And then why is this all important? You can see the associated health risk down below. This isn't just about the microbiome, right? We want to leverage the microbiome for our health, but as you can see, and we'll talk more about this later, sulfide gas production actually involved with your ability to lose weight or gain weight, right? And that's important to all of us, I think, right? Especially if you look at the current trends with GLP-1s and berberine and everything else you see on TikTok. So this isn't just some, nerd dive into microbial physiology. These pathways and this activity matters for our health. If I was going to give another example, grass-fed lean beef, it's great source of protein, lots of nutrients, delicious if you ask me, but maybe it's not the best protein source for us at this time. So TMA is a molecule that's produced by the microbiome from choline and carnitine, which happens to be particularly high in beef and other animal proteins. If we see this high activity, it puts us at a disadvantage when it comes to the development of heart disease, right? There are some risks there when it comes to developing heart plaques and heart disease. We want to be paying attention to that, right? Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the US, really in westernized nations. So we want to be paying attention by looking at this activity, modulating the diet, pulling back on beef and other proteins that might be affecting this. We can reduce that TMA and TMAO production, and thereby decrease the risk and the activity that's contributing to the heart disease. Also bringing in specific supplements, fibers, ginger here is an example, just not outside of pulling all the foods out. What can we bring in, again, to affect that activity? Ginger is going to be a great example there. So again, I think that's my last slide, right? Yeah. These are just a few examples of all the molecular features, 10 million data points that are assessed when you test, when we're looking at your blood, stool, and saliva, looking at those microbes, looking at the gene expression of your own cells. It empowers and enables these insights and these tools really for you to take personal nutrition into your own life and really get you, again, across that finish line to hit your goals and get you living your best life. So I'll be quiet there, let Hillary go over, because I could preach all day, right? Hillary, on to you.
Sure. Okay, here is the new and improved app. So I'm going to get you started while this loads up. Y'all can see my screen, right?
Yeah, it's coming through.
There you go.
Perfect. So this is the home screen of the app. This is what you will see as soon as you log into the app. And this is meant to be kind of like a control center for all your information. So this is a one-stop shop. If you just want the high-level notes, this is where you'll head to. So of course it's personalized for you. You'll see your name at the top. Good morning. And then the first feature you'll see on the homepage are stories. If you are a social media user, you're probably used to this type of format where it's bite-sized pieces of information that are very visual. We'll be using these stories to give you motivation, inspiration, new pieces of information as they come available. And then also we'll use this to update you on what's new in the app. If you have just downloaded your new app, and you want to start looking around on your own, this is a good place to start. It'll kind of guide you through all of the sections that we're going to take a look at now. Then there's a featured food. This is not new. We had this before, but this is a great way to get familiar with your foods one at a time. This will change every day. And you're always welcome to click on the food and see more about it. Okay, so just trucking along down the home page, the next section you'll see is My Health Overview. So this section gives you a high-level overview of the activities that we detected from your sample. These are kind of like the themes that we're seeing in your results. These are separate from your scores in the sense that they're themes and they're not score names. So this is a high-level overview. You can scroll through the carousel to see these areas of your health that you need to work on. You will also see the goals that you reported. So you can click on any of these cards here to get more information about that area, how it impacts your health, what scores it's related to, and then you can also see what foods and ingredients will support this activity. And again, you can click on any of the foods to learn more about those foods.
Hillary, I'll just add in there, I think that section is huge. You know, I've been here at Viome for 6 years, and I think a lot of what we hear from our customers is making that connection, right? Okay, I see I have this issue with my kidney heart function. What do I take for it? Or what foods are good for it? Or what do I need to avoid? So this really lays it out nicely where you can see all on one screen. Hey, here's what's going on. Also, here's what's going to support you.
Exactly. Yes. This gives it all in one place, and you don't need to flip through each food to learn why it was recommended to you. So this is kind of like the shortcut. When you have the time, you can do that. You can flip through all the foods and really deep dive on all of them. And then there's this just kind of report card here. This shows you how many maintain, improve, attention scores. These names of the scores have changed, although your scores haven't changed at all. So maintain was your good, improve was average, and attention was not optimal. So the names have changed a little bit. Scores have stayed the same. This button here gives you a shortcut to the health page, and from there you can deep dive on all of your scores, learn about which ones you need to improve, which are good, and more.
And we will deep dive.
And we will go there. Yes, Grant is going to take us for a walk through that. Okay, the next section you see here on your homepage is the Improve Your Health section. So in this section, you get to learn how your foods and your ingredients are all working together to support your specific health goals and your scores. So you can see all of these areas of your health that you need to work on here on the carousel, or you can click See All to see all of them here in a flat view. You can click on any of these icons to learn more. So here I've clicked on the gut and digestive health section, and you can see what things that your recommendations are focusing on. So for this one, we're decreasing the toxins in your gut. We're helping your protein digestion. And then you can review all of the kind of buckets foods and supplements that will help those areas. We call them boosters and blockers. So the boosters are ones that are going to positively impact your health. And the blockers are ones that will negatively affect your health. So blockers are things you want to avoid, your avoid foods. Boosters are your superfoods and your supplements. Okay.
And actually, Hillary, if you want to click on one of those boosters and blockers, you can actually learn more about each one. They each have like a dedicated page, like Gutline and Guardian, for example. So you'll learn more about joint defenders. And these are all the food and ingredients that we would show under joint defender. But another really thing we wanted to do for this release was show people how your food and ingredients work together. So, people often separate, I eat this and then I take these supplements, but all of these things, just kind of like what Grant walked through, is they're targeting specific activity together. So your food and ingredients work synergistically. They're not just separate, they need to be together.
Exactly. Yes. And I think Janelle will go a little bit deeper on these, so I'll leave that to her. Okay. Quick shortcut to your nutrition page. You can navigate here. Like I said before, dive deeper on all of that. And Janelle will give us more color and information on that section coming up here in a minute. Next is the formulas. So these are the same great formulas that we've been offering to you before. We have our capsules, 8 capsules a day, formulated with your vitamins, minerals, herbs, whatever is needed to help you support your scores. You can click on this icon or any of these icons to review the details of that formula. You can see what ingredients are in it, what dosages they're at. We still have the gut formula. This is your pre and probiotic stick pack, our personalized toothpaste and gel, and our oral lozenges. There is a shortcut here to bring you to the shop page to order the formulas, so you don't have to go too far. And then moving along, there are all sorts of new videos here for you to deep dive on all things Viome Science. You'll see some of the great people here on this webinar, and you can just get these deep insights that we have to share with you about how we score your results, how we make our supplements, all sorts of things. And then you weren't meant to do this alone, right? Making changes to your diet, your lifestyle is not easy. We recognize that. And we have a community for you to connect with, to support each other. I know Lisa mentioned this earlier, but in case you missed it, please join our community. She has cultivated such a beautiful, supportive atmosphere of all of our customers there on that platform. I love checking in, like seeing people share recipes, share support. So you are not alone in this. If you're having a challenge with something, chances are someone else is too, and you can do this together. And then speaking of friends, if you want to refer a friend, there's a great referral code here, so you can share that with a friend. You both get a benefit. And then lastly, getting to the bottom of our homepage, last but not least, if you want to journey deeper, you'll see these spread throughout the app. These are question and answer and short little snippets of information that you can read at your own time. So that is the homepage. I think I'll hand this over back to Grant to take a look at. Oh yeah, go ahead, Janelle.
I just want to jump in from some of the comments I noticed. We are sharing our desktop version right now, so it might look a little different from what you see in your app, but you're welcome to log in on your desktop or on your app. All the same information is there, just it might look a little different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here. And you guys can see my screen now, right? So can you guys, I don't know if you'll be here on the left side. So Hillary was just on the home tab. Now we're moving on to the health tab. And this is where, nerd alert, you can go as deep into your results as you want. That Helen emphasized up front that with the redesign, we really wanted to start connecting Viome's assessments, the technology, the scores, to your everyday, right? To what you know, what you're experiencing in your body, to your health condition. So that's the overarching theme of the changes. All the original information, your scores, from health scores, functional scores, pathway scores. It's all here, just laid out a little differently. And I'm going to highlight some of those, but as well as the new features that really help take those scores and connect it to your health and your experience. So up front, you're going to see the list of the health scores. These are the original higher level health scores that you saw in the previous app version. All these can be clicked into, but all the underlying scores build up and contribute to these. These are your overall trends. So if I look here at heart and metabolic health for this individual, I can see my current score, where I land. I'm going to improve an average, and I can see my history for this score. I'm going to get a description, and then a new feature here. The description is nothing new there, but just give an overview of what we're looking at with this particular score. But how does this score, how does this activity, connect to me and my experience? So the features in this particular score are going to be involved with blood sugar control, right? Weight management, heart disease, kidney. It's just a good little touch point to say, hey, why is this important to me? Based off your scores and activity, you're going to see these clinician notes, which are going to highlight from your attention scores where you need the most support. Again, how does that connect to your blood pressure, to your cardiovascular health? And just give you additional insights. So if you're going to see my brain kind of spilled out onto a page, and why this activity matters, you're going to see it there. If I want to see for the heart and metabolic, I want to see all the contributing scores. I can click this tab and again, see those scores and then browse any one of these that I choose to go even deeper. If I come back, I can go down below that and I can start checking in, hey, my boosters and blockers that we've already mentioned, the nutrition that's going to connect to these scores and activity I can see. And then you're always going to see us trying to provide additional information, additional support, videos, blogs, chats, you name it, to help you with your journey, your education, and your success. Let me back up and go back to the page. So that's just one example. I'm all the way back here. Let me come back. I'm so used to being on my phone and using my thumbs, right? Like I can go fast. So those are your overarching scores. You can go down to see those supporting scores, or I can shortcut it and just go here where I'm going to see that master list of all scores. This is similar to what we had in the previous app version. So they're all laid out here. So if you're comfortable with this, you're like, you want to check in on your gut lining health. That's something you've been trying to work on. You can go straight there, click on it, see that activity and those nutrition connections. If I go back, most of you guys are familiar with your biological age score. This used to be reported up in the health scores. We've pulled that out and added a new score, inflammaging. So I won't talk much about biological age. There's nothing new there. We've just moved it down. But inflammaging, what the heck is that? We talk a lot about chronic disease. Really in modern society, it's chronic disease, not infectious disease, that is the true plague of our age, right? We've got it good in terms of lifestyle and diet, but our exposures and our pleasures really predispose us to this chronic disease. And a part of that is this chronic low-grade, what we call silent inflammation that occurs and becomes more of a problem as we age. What happens is our immune systems, as they age, begin to lose more and more control over the immune system activities, meaning it can be triggered, and these inflammatory triggers and cascades, we lose more control over, and so they can perpetuate and begin to cause more issues, right? Normally, you would want an inflammatory response to address the injury. Maybe you hurt your arm, twisted an ankle, maybe you had a cut. You want that inflammation to activate your immune system to come in, do that healing, flush out toxins, and do that good work. But when it comes to low-grade inflammation, there's no injury there. It's just a signal that activates your immune cells. And a lot of this inflammatory activity, if not controlled, can actually damage our tissues and organs. Think of arthritis, right? That's a low-grade inflammatory condition that occurs over years that slowly erodes our joints, right? Now, there's different pathways to different subtypes of arthritis, but if we're just talking about osteoarthritis associated with aging, we're looking at this long, low grade inflammation that's contributing to that. This score is trying to give you a handle on that and give you the tools, not just to assess it, but to act on it. And how can we modulate this? And you're going to see that these two, inflammaging and that biological age, are going to be intertwined, right? The more we can control our immune system, keep things calm, the better we're going to see with that cellular senescence, cellular stress, and that biological age. It turns out, too, that with biological age and inflammation, the gut plays and the microbiome plays a central role, right? Our gastrointestinal tract is the largest interface we have with the outside world. So the body has a vested interest in constantly monitoring that tube and making sure it can contain whatever is inside the outside world. It can contain it and keep it from coming in and infiltrating our organs and tissues. So it's wrapped in immune and nervous tissue, so it's constantly monitoring. So any inflammatory activity or dysbiotic activity that occurs within the microbiome or the gut automatically can trigger some of this inflammaging and really whole body dysfunction. And so we want to be paying attention here. So you'll see we've moved that microbiome profile for your gut and your oral microbiomes here, a more central location, so you can see these. If I were going to tap in, you're going to see your gut and richness diversity. This is not new. It was a little more hidden in the previous app version, so we brought that forward. This particular individual has got a very low richness and diversity. Likely they had some antibiotics recently or some surgeries with antibiotics. That's something they want to be paying attention to. A new score you're going to see to the right is dysbiosis. Now, that's a fancy word, right? For dysbiosis, we want to think about this community with the microbiome. Think of a thriving neighborhood, a city or a metropolis, right? We all know we've been on those dark streets, those back alleys where you don't feel so comfortable. There's some strange characters walking around. That's not going to be a good neighborhood or something conducive to productive activities, right? The same thing can happen with the microbiome, where these good guys, these commensal bacteria that are protective and productive for our health, those compositions get disrupted, and more bad players come in and disrupt both the composition and the activity of that microbiome, right? You're always going to hear us bring it back to activity, because that's the secret sauce there with the microbiome. So we want to really highlight that dysbiosis along with the richness diversity. These are two metrics, barometers for gut health that we want to be paying attention to. So we brought those forward again to get your attention. And we've always had the list of active microbes that you can go and see for those that are interested. Hey, do I have Akkermansia? Do I have C. difficile? Or some of these other microbes that are a little more popular in the literature. You can filter through here bacteria, virus, eukaryotes. You're going to see with fungi and protozoa if you're interested there. But all this, again, always been available, but you had to do a little digging to find. We made it more convenient and practical to bring that forward. And as always, as I mentioned, more resources there for you to continue to learn and okay, that support. Let me back out of this again. How am I doing, guys? We're doing good on time. Yeah. So microbiome, so inflammaging microbiome profile, dysbiosis. Let's talk health connections. Now, I think this is what I'm most excited about. I think most of us at Viome, this is the first time we've really brought forward how important these scores, this biology is, and related it to the conditions that we know and talk about with our doctors and in our everyday conversations about our health. We really wanted to make these robust connections that, we've got a lot of science talk, right? A lot of nerd speak, a lot of technology. People can really get lost and confused, and they know they can sense the importance and the value there, but they don't know how to translate it. We're not all scientists, right, or geneticists. We want to know how this science applies to me. and what I should do about it. So that's what this Health Connection section is all about. How do these scores and activities relate to a set of conditions, this 20 plus conditions that we've brought forward. These connections are supported by Viome data. Some we have published, peer-reviewed published data on, others is internal, and studies are to come. Others are supported by the literature, right? This Viome isn't the only company or lab that's looking into the connections between the microbiome and our health. So what you'll see across the board are all this data and evidence that connects these activities to these conditions. And we think it's really empowering for you guys. Now, side note, we're not saying you have this condition. So I'll click into IBS. We're not saying you have IBS type D. This is diarrhea. It's a subtype of IBS. We're not saying you have the conditions listed here. We're saying we want to start paying attention because there is some connection and some associated risk that we want to be paying attention to. Remember, Viome, we're all about early detection and prevention, right? The earlier we can pick up on that dysfunction, the sooner we can intervene, then the easier and the faster we can course correct and keep us from going down that road towards IBS, heart disease, obesity. So we're not diagnosing. This is a health and wellness platform. We're not telling you, we're not diagnosing or treating any disease, but these scores matter. Your underlying physiology matters. And if we are interested in longevity and the prevention of disease, we want to help you connect those dots. And that's what these are all about. So for this individual, they had some attention scores, some unfavorable activity that is supported by the data to predispose someone for IBS and specifically this type D. That's the amazing thing too here. Most docs, they just talk about IBS. Because of our technology, we can actually detect the subtypes of IBS, whether that's type constipation, type C, type D with diarrhea, mixed. So we can really bring that forward to you. And the interventions for each of these subtypes and the scores that are related to the subtypes are very different. So we can detect that, zoom in on it, bring you the foods and supplements, again, to correct the scores and that underlying activity so that we can, again, quite possibly ever prevent IBS or these other conditions from ever occurring.
Grant, can I jump in here? Something I think about with these health connections too is what if I know I have that condition? I've been diagnosed in the past with IBS. That might be something I really want to dive into and look at and say, what are those underlying activities that might be contributing to it? And maybe that's where I lock in, right?
Actually, thanks for bringing that up, because here in this individual's results, they didn't report any health conditions that are being reported under the health connection. If you have health conditions that you reported on the questionnaire, they will appear here with the connections to the scores. Again, the same not optimal activity. How do those relate to the current conditions that you're reporting and experiencing? That will all be here under the health connections as well. These that you see in the yellow, these are the associated health risks that that were not reported, but that Viome, because of your scores and your results, can connect that activity to. So yeah, very important point.
Grant, could you actually go back into the IBS type D where you were showing the 4 pathway scores? So will you click on one and kind of talk about what we show specifically when you actually access one of those pathways, like sulfide?
Yeah, let's go back into sulfide gas. So we're going to give you a background snippet, a narrative with more detail about what this connection is about, the underlying mechanism of action, and what's actually been studied or observed. We're going to give you that result, and then we're going to give you the supporting literature that's behind that connection. This particular one is supported. I mentioned Viome's peer-reviewed research. This is going to be our own study that we've submitted. As you go through, someone's keyboard is super loud.
Now,
that's me. Sorry.
We're like furiously typing.
When you click on, I thought that was Grant earlier. I was like, why are you typing so loud? Actually, when you click through to one of those scores too, you'll get that full detail page about that score. So if, we allow people to go as deep as you want. So let's say he clicks on bile acid, it's going to take you to that detail page and everything comes full circle. So if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see, how do I improve this score? So we're always connecting the dots between what foods, what's nutrients, supplements, biotics, what is addressing that specific activity that is affecting me now, maybe through symptoms or maybe that I should watch out for, and then has those long-term effects of that condition that Viome has kind of flagged for you. So everything's full circle. You can go as deep as you want, but it always comes back to what can I do about it, right? And that comes back to your formulas and your recommendations.
Yeah, and as you can see here, 15 foods and ingredients that support this score, which is connected to these conditions. Yeah, great point.
And when you click on it, you can actually see them isolated in just that little window, those foods.
Good.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprising you. There you go. You have to go to the end of it.
Yeah, so let's see. We've got avoids here for dandelion greens and turmeric. When inflammation igniter, bile acids. Yeah, everyone knows turmeric to be actually anti-inflammatory, but through the production of bile and the release of more bile, right? Because it's a cholagogue and a gallbladder stimulator, I'll say. You're going to see increased flow of those bile acids. And if bile acid conversion is an issue for me, that actually can cause inflammation within the gut. A nice insight there that you're not going to hear a lot about in the typical blogosphere. But yeah, I think that's about it. Let me try to back up out of this. Health connections. So we've talked health zones, longevity, microbiome profile, health connections. Again, another shortcut. We're in the health page, but if I want to zoom right over to nutrition that we keep landing on, I can do that there. And of course, more videos, lots of content, lots of support, blogs, videos, you name it. It's all here for you. I think I'll stop there, guys.
Are we up to Janelle?
Yes, we are.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Hey.
Is my screen up now?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I'm clicking on things already. Let me figure this out. There we go. Okay, I get to talk about the nutrition page, which I'm so excited about. Obviously, we've been so excited to contribute to every portion of this app update, but the nutrition page is probably where our team has kind of had our fingers on it the most. When we have customers come in, sometimes Grant was going through the scores. Sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of new terms in there, and I know for some of us it's just like, just tell me what to do, right? And to me, the nutrition page is what to do, right? This is like our action page, which is awesome. We're going to start off at the top with just some quick reads. These are really great, especially if you're new to Viome. I would encourage you to spend a few minutes on each of these, learn about the different categories. What does it mean to minimize a food? Learn about this guide to foods everyone should avoid. That's an important one because you might see that we don't have pasta on the food list, right? Well, we encourage avoiding white flour for everyone. You're going to see some of those things in some of these articles here. Then as we scroll down, you get your food recommendations. Now, these are going to be completely unique to each individual. They're going to be classified into 4 categories. So that hasn't changed. We still have superfood, enjoy, minimize, and avoid. But you can maybe click on them and see them a little bit more clearly with this new layout, which I really love. So if I go into our superfoods, I'm going to get a nice list of all of my superfoods that I can, just kind of scan and take a look at. If there is a superfood I want more information on, of course, I can click into it. I'll just go with acai berry. It's our first one here on the list. I'm going to find out some of the details about this food, right? So I want to know, what does acai berry do? We've got here that Hillary mentioned earlier today. So acai is going to help with balancing blood sugar. It's a cell defender. Again, you can click into any of these and learn about those boosters, right? It's part of this group that has a lot of antioxidant power to help with our cells. Specifically, why is it a superfood for me? Well, here's my scores that it's going to help target, help support. Metabolic fitness, that's going to be back related to that blood sugar support, and cellular stress, again, back related to what's going on with the antioxidant support. Of course, you can click into these. This is, I've even seen a few comments today. So if you're wondering, hey, why is this food recommended for me? Keep clicking. That's always the key. So if I click on this cellular stress, I'm going to learn, okay, I had this score as attention. Here is the reason why acai berry is important for that score. Here's some supporting research if you do want to dive into that a little bit further. But yes, keep clicking. Each food will have a reason for you, no matter where it lands, right? If it's in any one of those 4 categories, you should see a reason why it's there for you. We also have your blood sugar response to that food. Here at Viome, we have a model that does predicted blood sugar response to foods based on your microbiome. Our microbiome has a huge impact on how we respond with our blood sugar as we digest foods. And so you're going to get that response to that food. And we can even go down further and we can get some general information about this food. And this is really great, especially if it's a food you're not super familiar with. So you'll get a little background information on the food, a little bit about the macronutrient profile. And my favorite part is this tips to consume. So if you're not used to having acai, maybe now you can read, okay, you're usually going to buy it in a powder or a puree form. That's kind of the most common, at least here in the States. Where do you want to store it? It wants to be in the freezer, the refrigerator, right? So each food will have its own tips to consume there, which can be really helpful. I'm going to take us back to our list here now. And I do also want to highlight our filters. Now, this is to me helpful when maybe I'm meal planning or I'm looking, for me, it's like, what protein sources can I get in? I'm going to select both superfood and enjoy for this purpose. And let's filter and say, okay, what are my proteins that I should focus on, right? That I can have pretty regularly. And then my list will come up. So I've got a number of bone broths. I think this user has a lot of fish, some lentils, but you can find your go-to protein sources. We have quite a few filters on here, so you can always play around with it. Of course, each of our kind of food groups is here, but also health zones. So if you want to know, hey, I'm really working on my immunity. Maybe we're going into winter. I know we're not right now, but in the future, you're like, I want to boost that. What do I have that I can support myself with, right? Here are some of my superfoods that are going to help with that section. So play around with those filters. Use them to kind of support some of your choices and your meal planning. I think they're really great for that. And of course, if you are I'm going to reset everything here. If you're just out and you want to look up a food, maybe you're at a restaurant and you're like, oh, they've got this lamb dish. I don't eat that very often. Let's see where lamb is for me. You can always search, right? Lamb. This will include, I'll bring our acai back up. Whoops. This will include both your foods and your supplements in that search bar. So I can see, hey, acai is my superfood, but guess what? It's also in my supplements. So that's a bonus. All right. I'm going to bring us back to the main nutrition page. And this is a new feature we have. It's called My Daily Servings. It's kind of a little guide here, and it's just going to pop up for you. But this is really creating a nutrition plan for you. So we know what foods we're supposed to eat now, right? We know our superfoods and our enjoy foods that we're focusing on. But how much do I eat in a day? And so this guide has taken into consideration your information, right? Your height, your weight, your activity level, the goals you told us about, certain health conditions if you self-reported those, and it will designate, all right, I want to aim for 4 fats in the day, 2 fruits, give you a little plan and guide to follow. Now for me, I really love simple tracking if you're a tracker. So this is ideal for me to keep a tally throughout the day rather than, logging every calorie, every macronutrient. I love to just be like, all right, I had blueberries for a snack. There's one of my 2 fruits for the day checked off. So you can use that as a little tool as well. All right, and then we'll kind of go down to this next section. So now we're going to get into the formulas. Hillary highlighted those on the homepage as well, but under your nutrition, they are part of your nutrition, right? We know that it's challenging to get everything we need with food alone. We know that unfortunately, our foods are not always as nutrient dense as we want them to be with our world today. So we want that extra support, that extra oomph with our supplements. We have 4 categories. If you want to click in and see, hey, okay, what's in my supplement ingredients? You can do that. You're going to be able to see the list of ingredients with, of course, the dosages for each item. And these are all personalized for you. This, right now I'm on the capsules, so it's 8 capsules a day. You will get these ingredients and these dosages in there. Like any others, you can click into it. Let's look at aloe. So this is going to be really similar to our food layout. You will see your boosters for aloe, where it's going to, help support, and specifically why it's recommended for you. So due to that cellular senescence and cellular stress score, that aloe is going to help to provide support in those areas. We're going to also have filters here. So I know some people like to just say, again, I'm focused on one specific area of my health, and I really want to see, what does Viome recommend in that area? All right, I'm working on immunity. Here are some of the ingredients in my supplements that can help me there. And that's going to be the same for each of your formulas. So you can go through, you can look at your gut formula. This is your stick pack. It's going to have your pre and probiotics in it. Again, click into any one of your ingredients, learn a little bit more about it. How much is the dose? What's it doing for me? Which scores is it targeting? You're going to get really a lot of information on each of these. And then same thing for your toothpaste and your oral lozenges. We can look at each of those individually. There is this saved feature. I haven't mentioned that yet. The saved feature is cool. You can kind of highlight any of these if you want to come back to them. I like to do it particularly on the food side because I know that there are foods that maybe I don't eat very often. So if I'm like, okay, chanterelle mushrooms, I don't have those. Maybe I've never had them, right? But they're my superfood now. I'm going to highlight that one. I'm going to keep it in my saved, and I'm going to have a little list of foods that maybe once a week I try a new food, or I find a new recipe or something like that of these kind of unusual foods that I'm not as familiar with. Right. And then as we keep going down here, you will get your nutrition tips. I know we've had a few sections like this on each page, but I love these because they're like an overview, right? They're kind of that high level, what are we doing with our diet and our nutrition? So for this individual, we're saying, hey, boost those omega-3s, be careful with cruciferous vegetables, limit red meat, right? Those high level concepts that if we're out and about and we're eating at a restaurant or a friend's house or grabbing a snack, we can kind of have those in our mind and know, okay, as long as I'm grasping onto these things, I have a good sense of that I'm following my my Viome recommendations. And then below, we're going to get some of our fun videos, and you guys can laugh at our kind of clipped images here as you go through. But if you want to learn more about Viome, what we do, the power of precision nutrition, how we're making your recommendations, I think that's a really helpful one to understand that process of how these foods came to be for you. And similarly with our supplements, we're going to have videos on all of those things. And then you can continue to dive down deeper and find, frequently asked questions. What should I expect? Do probiotics die before they reach your gut? We're going to have some of those things in there, as well as, our videos too. So there's always opportunities to dive down further and learn more. I will, I'll stop there on the nutrition page.
Well, actually, can you pull it back up? Betty was asking,
sure.
she's saying, I see, what was her question? Something about foods connected to blood sugar control and cardiovascular. So heart and metabolic. I just want to make sure she saw that when we click into those foods, maybe.
I think we had it on
those
acai.
Yeah, let's see. So there's metabolic, good blood sugar response. So Betty, when you tap in, you'll see right here, this food was predicted to have a favorable blood sugar response based off our GRM model, our glycemic response model. You'll see other foods where it's predicted you have a bad blood sugar response. So that's kind of baked in. We don't bring that model forward, but it's cooked into your recommendation. So just make sure that as you're browsing through your food items, but know that any food that's predicted to not, there you go. Yeah,
we can actually filter for it. So if you want to know which foods you have a predicted poor blood sugar response to, you can filter and see
It's
those.
Also, Janelle, it's also in your boosters and blockers on the homepage.
Okay.
Over there, there's a section dedicated where you can learn about our model and some information about it. It's just on that homepage with all the ones listed. Like that home view of boosters and blockers.
Yeah, I hope that helps, Betty. You crumbs on the red trail.
Great question.
All right. Wow, that was
Great
a lot. That was a lot. And I see people like assimilating it and like trying to get into it and stuff like that. We did have one question from John. He's not seeing any avoid foods at all. And that is possible, right? To not see any avoid foods at all. Probably most likely with the gut intolerance test if you are relatively healthy, correct? We're connecting the foods with the attention scores. So I was trying to ask John, do you have any scores that actually fall into that attention category? And if you don't, you may not have any exact avoid foods. That's correct, right? I'm just making sure I'm correct there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Grant.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So you could have attention scores, but not have avoid foods connected to that, right? So to impact that score, it may be that we need to bring nutrients in to correct that activity. So then that the recommendation would be a superfood, not an avoid. But other pathways, the example we brought in earlier with the sulfite gas, we want to pull those sulfur compounds and amino acids out of the diet. So you're going to see those foods move to avoid or minimize to affect that pathway. So depending on the pathway, depending on what's being assessed, you'll see the recommendations go either way. But yeah, it's I want to say it's normal, but it's possible to not have any avoid foods. And we see that with our gut intelligence test, where you only have one sample type, right, coming from stool, where you don't have as many, because you don't have as many inputs from the samples, you don't have as many outputs in scores. And so you don't see as much of the avoid foods a lot of times in those cases.
There you go. Okay. I just want to make sure because John is like, where's my avoid foods? Where's my avoid foods? And I want to make sure, that was all correct, that it's possible to not have any avoid foods. But you do have other recommendations, other foods, other supplements, biotics as well that should be attached to your scores. And I'm going to wrap this up here with a quick little look into the profile in the shop. Because I want to make sure that you know how to get around in there too. The profile tab right here, this contains your subscription information. If you are subscribed, Samantha is not subscribed, but if you are subscribed, you will see exactly what you are subscribed to here. You can click into that to get to your dashboard, which has ways for you to manage your subscription within there. And you should be able to easily do that right there. And then also your tests. Whatever your current test is, Samantha's is a full body intelligence test, and then you can historically see all of your tests here if you click on it there, and it will be listed out by sample, not by test name, so saliva, blood, stool, and things like that. You can also register a new test right here. When you purchase a new test kit to retest and check in with your body and see how things are doing, see how your foods and supplement formulas are adjusted a little bit to move you forward, you can register it right here, and it's all within your app, and all of your previous answers to your name, your address, your phone number, that will already be in there, of course. And so up here in the upper right-hand corner is the cog, and that takes you to your account information, your name, your email, your health profile, which is your questionnaire that you answered. That is the one from your current test. And then you have connection to support, like you have links to support FAQs if you have questions that you feel might be answered there, or you can actually contact customer service right here. If you click on that, that will take you to support.viome.com, which has a knowledge base, but also has a very helpful support chat bot, which if you are not able to get an answer, the bot itself is not able to give you an answer to your question, you can say, I need more help. And then you'll be able to connect directly with somebody live one-on-one. Okay. That's a great way to get service level support when you need it right away. And so down here, you can also log out of your app. So let's come on over here to shop, which is right here. And this is where you will see items that are available to you. If you have test results and recommendations, as you will see right here, you will see formula products that you can order that, of course, are bespoke for you according to your test results. You can choose as many or as little as you want. The prices show up right down here. And then if you order and subscribe from your app, automatically a 15% off for 6 months, for the next 6 months of your subscription will be automatically applied to your purchase at checkout. Now, as well, down here, you can also order tests from your app too. Now, if for some reason you do not see any products here in the shop tab, it's because of a couple of reasons. One, you may not be eligible for some products depending on your location. Or if you took just a gut intelligence test, you will only see supplements and gut biotics. You need the full body intelligence test to get the oral products. Or you're already subscribed. If you are already subscribed, head on over to your profile and you can see what your subscription is right now. And so speaking of tests, I do want to let everybody know, I'm going to pop this up right now, that as a thank you to all of you for attending this and getting all this fantastic new data about our really awesome app. We're so happy about it, and we're so happy to share it with you. I also want to share a $100 off discount for a full body intelligence test that you can take and run with right now. If you click on that link, it will deposit you on Viome.com and you can purchase, and the discount code should be automatically applied right there at checkout. And if you don't see it automatically applied, it's new app, one word, NEWAPP, $100 off of a full body intelligence test. So you can either get your journey started or you can retest and continue on with your journey right there. This is good through Sunday, so act on that while it's hot. And I think that about closes it up. We're 6 minutes over, so thank you so much for hanging in there with us as we went through this really, really awesome, chock full of new information app. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Helen, very much for presenting to our customer and our new public people. And I can tell that there's lots of appreciation out there. Thank you so much for your questions and for attending. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.